spoke with Ryan. He talked a little bit about your kind of the impact you had. What did you see out of him, and what has he been able to showcase this year?
No, I think he gave me a shout out because I was kind of distracting him back here. So, but the first thing I say about Ryan is the first thing you notice he's a high character young man, very, very humble, very coachable, great student, never an issue. He is a huge picture of development. He's still in the early stages of his development. Obviously the one thing that he has is he's got that eraser, which is speed. I've been waiting a while to see him in an open field and eat up angles and run away from people. And so I was really excited for him. You talk about a guy in our program that is as improved or more than anyone else in our program, and that's Ryan OKeefe, and that's just a testament to his character. Coach White does a great job in recruiting and identifying what it is that's right for the culture of that room. Excuse me. He's perfect in that room, and he's again just the development that goes on in that room, and obviously having guys that to come in and to be able to mirror and emulate guys like Gabe Davis and guys that have been around here for a while. That room is really, really close. Ton of chemistry in there. They all play off each other. They're all really happy for each other. Ryan is a big part of that, but he's as improved in my eyes as anyone on our team.
Coach, going off a little bit more about that wide receiver position, can you talk about how those guys have stepped up? Because it was a big loss losing Trey Nixon early in the season, but you see what Marlon and Jalen, what they've been able to do, the kind of yards and numbers, leading the nation. Marlon is, and Jalen's right up there. Can you talk about what those guys have done to compensate for that loss of Trey?
I kind of resist a little bit of the step up mentality because that room works together so well. It's more collaborative, and the way that we try to build our offense is it's never around one guy. And so I will say that, we haven't missed a beat. Not that we don't miss Trey. You don't want to lose anyone from any position group, especially someone like Trey, as hard as he's worked in this offseason, obviously under some challenging circumstances and things. That guy is as invested as anyone I've been around at that position. But I feel like there hasn't been any drop off. And to me, that's a testament to the culture in that room, the development in that room, the work ethic. Those guys work. I would put that group up work ethic wise with any group in the country. They impress me every single day, the way they show up to work. And then it shows on Saturdays the way they compete. Highly competitive. Bunch of guys who are really, really tough. They don't talk a lot. They just come out and they play ball. And what they do every day in practice is showing up.
Coach, based on what we've seen from McKenzie and his social media, it feels like he's taken another step closer to being able to get back out there. Can you kind of give us a sense of what you've seen from him? It seems like, at least from the quick video we saw of him, he kind of in so many ways looks a little like his old self, which is just so amazing after everything he's been through.
KZ's got a glow around him when he steps on the field. So, and he does look like KZ. He's out there, he's in shoulder pads, he's running around, he's spinning it. And it's beautiful to see that. Happy for him. I'm a fan for life of KZ, and I can't wait to see him taking snaps in front of a bunch of people that I'm sure will be really happy to see him as well. I can't give you anything on the medical side of it, but he looks good. It's really, really happy to see him out there.
Coach, you talked about another quarterback, Dylan Gabriel, what he's done, his improvement this season, what he's done so far, and then coming off that record-setting performance on Saturday. What have you seen from him, particularly that stood out this season?
Just his approach every day. He's so locked into every detail of what we're trying to do. He's so locked into, just his investment in playing that position and what that means for us. He seemingly improving and every single day, every week. He's kind of unshakable. You don't ever see any different. Like, he's the same guy that he was when he first got here as far as who he is as a person in my eyes. He's just maturing, finding his voice as a leader. Everyone has their own unique leadership style. But he shows up to work every day. And again, going back to the chemistry in the receiver room, that the receivers and the quarterbacks have great chemistry. They're always working together. At times they'll meet together and just to make sure that everyone's on the same page and things like that. And he's growing every single day. You wouldn't think that this is only his second year of college football. So really, really impressed with him every day. Really proud of him, the way that we handle the ebbs and flows of the season and how, we showed up to practice, had great practice this week. And everybody's showing up and working with the same type of urgency, if not more.
Coach, now about a month into the season, just your running backs in total, when you look at the position overall, what has stood out to you about that group that you coach this season?
I would say that to me, the thing that isn't, I'm most proud of is, we're throwing the ball a little bit more, and I think they're protecting really well. And that's part of the job description. I tell those guys every day, the two things that are most important in your job description is protect the football and protect the quarterback. If you can do those things, you got a chance. I got some guys that have played a lot of ball, and so they understand defenses. They're tied into the protection schemes. They're seeing the things slow down for them the more and more experience they get. We don't have the biggest running backs in the world, but we do have guys who are willing to put their nose in there and go in there and be physical. So I've been really impressed with that. There have been some physical runs and finishes and things like that. Always room for improvement, but really been happy the way they've been handling protection so far. Something that we emphasize and really try to detail for those guys that are handling it really well.
Coach, losing games is obviously something these players really aren't used to, especially losing back-to-back games. Knowing that, what have you seen from the guys this week in practice? This is kind of like uncharted territory for them. I mean, was there a lull at the beginning, or just what have you seen as those guys, try to bounce back from that?
Renewed rigor, if anything else. Those guys work, man. Our offense of staff does a great job. The players, character-wise, man, they show up to work. Win or lose, we're not feeling ourselves. We're not out there feeling ourselves and reading press clippings or paying attention to what everyone is saying about us, good or bad. The most important thing is the next one. So, trying to win the day and give yourself a chance tomorrow. That's really our approach on offense. This approach that Coach Heupel emphasizes for our entire team. What happened yesterday doesn't matter, win or lose. You can't be high. You got to be able to stay. Old cliche, stay the course, and that's really what it is. It's about what can I do today to improve. And when you win and lose, there's still a bunch of coaching that goes on. There's still a bunch of corrections. There's still a lot of different ways to get better.
Coach, how is Bentavious Thompson doing? He wasn't available this past week. Should he be available against Tulane, or how's he doing?
Benno's doing great. Had great practice today. Had great practice yesterday. So be happy to see him back out there.
Coach, what you got Tulane this week? What do you see out of this team coming into the bounce house this weekend?
They're a picture of their head coach. Coach Fritz, man, he's been successful everywhere. He's a great coach. He's proven it on every level. The guys play really hard. They're coached really well schematically. They're disciplined, and so if you watch them on tape, again, just like us, sometimes the ball doesn't bounce the right way or things like that, but it's not for lack of effort or anything like that. Sometimes that's just how the game goes, and so we got to be prepared for a team that's coming in here hungry, and we got to be on point. I know those guys will be prepared. They gave us a tough time last year down in New Orleans, and there's no give up in them. If you watch it over the course of the season, they play hard, snap the whistle. They play from the opening bell, to the last whistle. So, and we got to do the same.
Coach, I don't know if you really raced these guys head to head, but who do you think is the fastest player on this offense? Is there maybe
Yeah,
I think you were muted there, Coach. I just was asking, like, who do you think is the fastest player on this offense? Is there maybe one or two guys you would like to see in a race?
I can name a handful of guys that I'd love to see in a race. Ryan O'Keefe is obviously one of them. Jay Flash, Mari Johnson can run. Our 6'6" Jacob Harris can run. If it's not a 30-yard sprint and it's 60, Jay Harris would be up there with those guys. Got a little freshman in my room, little Johnny Richardson can run. We've got a ton of speed in our receiver room at really a lot of our skill positions. So it'd be an interesting race. But right now, as of today, based on what he did last week, Ryan O'Keefe is the fastest guy on the team right now, just because he went 93 and the ball was thrown at the line of scrimmage. So, but no, we got a ton of guys, man, that can really, really run. So it's fun to watch. It's fun in practice to watch. Sometimes I just shake my head, start laughing in practice because it's just really fun to watch those guys run around.
All right, thanks, Coach. We'll wrap up there. And everybody, thanks for being here, and we'll see you
Thanks,
tomorrow.
guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach.
Stay safe.